Hey guys, are you there? Welcome to our live today. So this is my Friday. It's really Thursday, but it's my Friday, and today we're going to be talking about how to get a bunch of asses in seats, butts in seats, asses on table on day one of opening. So for those of you who are students out there or who are about to graduate, how many of you guys would like to have the confidence that on the day that you open your practice, you actually are serving new patients, right? We just had one of our Thrive clients just opened a practice on Monday. It was his first day. He processed 4 or 5 brand new patients, and already on Tuesday had reported findings and already started collecting revenue on day 2, right? So it's totally possible on your second day of practice to actually collect revenue enough to cover your overhead for even the month, your rent for the month, whatever it may be, right? How many of you guys would like to open a practice and have the confidence in doing that? So here are your 3, there are a lot of steps. I'm not going to tell you that it's easy, because if I told you that it's easy, I would be lying to you. But here are like 3 steps that you absolutely have to have. This is your foundation. The first one is you have to have clarity. You have to have clarity on who you are. You have to have clarity on what it is that you want. And you have to have clarity on what you want to do and who you want to become. All right? Why? Because clarity creates vision. And vision creates fuel. Here's the thing, guys. You're going to have a lot of things, a lot of tasks to get done in order to be able to open up your dream practice. There's a lot of things that need to get done. And if we focus on the task, what happens when we focus on the task? Because you ever had a day where you woke up, your alarm clock went off, and you thought immediately of all the stuff you had to get done, and like it exhausted you already? You haven't even gotten out of bed and you were all exhausted already because you're thinking of all the tasks that you need to do. Have you ever had that day? We all have. But when you have a clear vision, when you have a clear picture in your mind's eye of where you want to go, that becomes your fuel. That's the fuel. That's the excitement. That's the anticipation that gets you out of bed. That's the anticipation and the excitement that gives you the energy to get all the things that you have to get done without being exhausting. So, I got some notes here for you. I want to make sure that I don't forget anything because this is really important. All right. So, if it's tough, if it's a little bit tough for you to decide right now, maybe you're still a student in chiropractic school or just graduating. If it's still a little bit tough for you to decide what exactly it is that you want, or what is the picture, like some of you might not even know where you want to practice or how you want to practice, right? The first good question to ask yourself is why. So if you come up with this thought or this goal, like let's say your goal is, okay, at the end of my first year of practice, my goal is to see 200 office visits a week, just making that up off the top of my head. A really good question is to ask yourself why. Why do I want to do this? Why is this important to me? How does this align with my values? How does this align with my standards? Once you ask yourself why, it's almost going to be a pattern interrupt in your own mind where it's going to say, why do I want to see this, right? You have to have a compelling why. Because the more compelling your why is, the more energy and the more fuel you're going to have to reach your goal, for sure. Also, one of the things that you might find, and this is true for everybody, is your why, when you answer your why, it might help you to figure out, to learn about who you are. Why is that? Well, because sometimes who we think we aren't really. What the heck does that mean? Well, when you're growing up, when we're all growing up, when we're 2 years old, 3 years old, 4 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, 7 years old, we are constantly being told who we are. by our parents, by our siblings, by our aunts, by our uncles, by our grandparents, by our teachers. We're being told who we are. And so what happens is that we grow up and we think we're that person. But are we really that person? And is what you want really what you want, or is that what they want? Is that what a parent wants? Is that what a spouse wants? Is that an expectation from a child or a sibling or a cousin or a brother? Right? So all of these things are really important because when you become clear on who you are and really what it is that you want, not what they want, that becomes power. And that becomes your juice. That becomes your fuel. Okay, step number 2. So the client that I was telling you about before, this is one of the things that I admired most about him. And step number 2 is discipline. It's essential to have discipline, right? I have a good friend, Dr. Stu Bittman. Dr. Stu, if you're watching, he calls it discipline, right? Right? So discipline, you have to be willing, get this, write this down, and write this down in the first person. I am willing, you have to be willing to do the things that others are not willing to do. I see it all the time because I coach people all the time. And there are people that I coach, I teach them all to do the same thing, and there are people who have discipline and they implement everything that I teach them to do, and they're revenuing on day 2. And then there are other clients that are just not willing to do what they need to do to produce those types of results. They're doing fine, but how many of you guys want to do fine? I don't. How many of you guys want to do phenomenal? Excellence. How many of you guys want to live every day in excellence, right? If you want to live in excellence, show me some love. Put in the comments, excellence. Kelly, I know you're watching, so you better put some excellence in there because you and I live with excellence every single day, and I know you guys do too. You have to be willing to do the things that make you uncomfortable. What does that mean? That means, like, when I tell you 8 weeks before you open, you got to be making connections. You got to be building relationships in your community. You got to start your videos now. Start your talks now. Get momentum now. You got to be willing to do it. So, John, good morning, John. I see you. Kelly, you're there too. Yes, excellence. All right. And a lot of it is not that people are not really willing. It's not that you guys don't want to do it. It's not that people don't want to do it. What it is that it makes you uncomfortable. It makes you uncomfortable. And here's the thing. Write this down. You ready? Growth happens when you're uncomfortable. That's when growth happens. Think about a balloon, right? And have you ever blown up a balloon? Think about this. If you were a balloon, you blow air into the balloon and the balloon grows, right? What happens to the skin, the rubber of the balloon? It stretches, doesn't it? Now, I don't know about you, but if you could only imagine being that balloon, right? It probably would not feel too comfortable if your skin was stretching way out thin, right? As that balloon grew, right? That's sometimes how growth feels in life. It feels really uncomfortable. Sometimes it can be downright painful. You got to be willing to go through the short-term pain for the long-term pleasure. All right? As a matter of fact, that's a one-liner from one of my mentors, Dr. Fred, right? He said people will go through short-term pain to have the pleasure, have long-term pleasure. And that's your short-term pain that you're willing to go through. All right, and step number 3. Step number 3, this is not, you don't have to be a genius to figure this one out. Are you ready for it? Get a coach. It doesn't have to be me. I'm not saying it because I'm a coach, right? But get a coach. Don't go at it alone. Why? Guys, I've been practicing chiropractic for 23 years. I've been in chiropractic since I've been 16 years old. I started as a chiropractic assistant. I'm now going to be 47 years old, which means that I've been in the chiropractic profession for over 30 years. Do you guys think that I've experienced just a couple of things? Say yes. If you think I had a couple of experiences, say yes. I've had some really great experiences, and I've had some really not so great experiences, right? But here's the thing. This is what I did. With all of the experiences that I had that were not so great, I put them in a manual for you. Why? So you can skip. I mean, you're not going to skip it completely. You're going to make mistakes, but you can skip the not so great stuff and go right to the great stuff, right? If you can save yourself time and energy and money on all of the things that don't work and go right to the things that do work, why wouldn't you do it? All right? So invest in yourself. You have to be willing. This goes back to discipline. You have to be willing to invest in yourself to gain these skills, these tools, this knowledge to be able to do this stuff, right? And I always say, like, one of the things is like, people say, Dr. Nicole, like, how did you grow such a big practice? And by the way, we only see like right around 300 office visits a week now. We're not like at a huge practice, but there was a long period in my career that I saw over 600 office visits a week, right? People always ask, how did you do it? And you know what I tell people? Because I'm lazy. I'm the laziest person you ever want to meet. I never wanted to reinvent the wheel. I never came out of school and said, let me do it my way. Okay? I think that's a Frank Sinatra song. My way? Is that it? John, help me out. Is that a Frank Sinatra song? All right. I never said that. I didn't care about doing it my way. You know what I said? I came out of school, I hired a coach, and I said, teach me how to do it. Just like hand me the tools, tell me what to do, and I'm going to do it. And that's what I did. I literally did everything my coach told me to do. And it wasn't magic, guys. It's more like a science. It's like he did this in his practice. He grew his practice to like 1,500 visits a week. I didn't want to go that high, but he grew his practice to like 1,500 visits a week. He gave me every tool that he had. I implemented those tools, and voila, there it was, right? Okay, so coaching is I don't want to say it's a science, but it's kind of like a science where, like, this stuff has been proven. Practices have done this before. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Be lazy, like I am. I'll tell you what to do. Just do it. And if you don't choose me, actually pick somebody that you can model who's doing what you already want to do. And I want to talk one last thing about a couple of things. Number one, I want to talk one last thing about investing. We said you have to invest in yourself, right? You have to invest. I've invested hundreds of thousands of dollars in learning how to become a coach in the industry, in the chiropractic industry, and also out of the chiropractic industry. Next level communication skills, next level coaching skills. And here's the thing. If you're about to open a practice, and this is true with everything, whether it be coaching or anything else, and you go through the whole thing, and you're like, I'm not going to hire a coach because I can't afford it. How many of you have said I can't afford it? All right, be honest. All right, how many of you said I can't afford it? Well, here's the thing. If you're saying I can't afford it to something that you know is going to make you better, something that you know is going to make you more money, it's going to bring you more success, it's going to bring you more peace, it's going to bring you more ease, it's going to bring you more health, what do you expect your patients are going to say when you present a care plan? Something to think about. A mentor told me that 20 years ago when I first opened my practice. All right, something to think about. All right, guys, so those are my 3 foundational steps. There are a lot more steps than that, but those are my 3 foundational steps for you guys. Something to think about. A lot of cool stuff happening in Thrive. We have, we have our podcast. Our podcast is finally out. It's out on Spotify. I think Kelly's going to be putting it up eventually if she hasn't already on Anchor, but I know it's out on Spotify. It's called Thrive in Chiropractic. And this podcast is awesome because it's a journey, of following Colton, one of our Thrive clients. We followed his entire journey from actually being in chiropractic school, those last months of chiropractic school, going through graduation, graduating, and then opening a practice within 3 months of graduation. And it follows, it's such an amazing journey. And in these podcasts are hacks, man. These are hacks of what to do and what not to do. And you can see this all unfolding in real time, in real life. So we all have the first 7 episodes are done and they're up. I hope that you guys enjoy them, and I hope that they provide value for you. And also we have, which I didn't even know we had this, guys, we have a YouTube page. You can follow us with Thrive Chiropractic Coaching. It's called Thrive Chiropractic Coaching on YouTube. Who knew? Who knew that we even had that? But there are tons of great free videos and information for you on our YouTube page. So we do those videos, and how I come up with my content, my material is real life stuff. Anytime something comes up in my own team, because I'm still in practice, guys, so I'm still doing this along with you guys. So anything that comes up in my practice with my patients or our clients, or I get a phone call from even a non-client, because I take phone calls from chiropractors all over the country that are not just opening their practices, but chiropractors that have been in practice for a while. Anything that comes up, when things come up and I'm like, that's good, people need to know how to do this, that's what we do our content on. So this is all like real time, real life stuff happening that we're teaching you guys on and coaching you guys on. So hopefully that provided you guys some benefit and some value, and I will see you guys for our live next week. And I think next week's live, I think will probably be back on Friday. We made it a day ahead because I'm going to take my 2 boys for one more ski vacation, one more ski week this weekend, and then we're probably done for the season. So I'll see you guys next Friday. All right, y'all. Take care.